Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelove, and this is Speedplay Netherlands number 11. So, we are unfortunately not able to do very much at this moment in our constant strife against England as we are in the middle of a truce against them. We also are truced with all of their allies, so we're going to just go ahead and focus on South America for the near future, as there are still quite a few native nations that we can go ahead and oppress. Back in Europe, we're probably going to just focus on sending a couple troops over and mainly just deal with all of these native countries over the course of the near future. There are still a couple left, and our colonial nations are at a good enough point that they can absorb them. The Norwegians do have a colony near Central America, though, and that's going to become relevant in the near future, as they're going to be the first country that our truce ends with. Until then, though, we're going to go ahead and just focus on destroying these native areas, and then moving forward, hopefully integrating both of them into our colonial nation and securing all of Peru. Meanwhile, we go ahead and build up a lot of auxiliary forces using our actual manpower, just artillery. We're not going to really build any infantry using our manpower, as we just have a really good way of working through our manpower doing that. And unfortunately, we do find out that there is another siege occurring, or another occupation occurring in Peru. We go ahead and just peace out with these native countries. We won't be able to take them entirely over due to that occupation, and we do get a bit of a rebellion going on in our country, but we go ahead and send our forces over to destroy that. Meanwhile, Knoch is also getting rebellions, so we're going to build up a larger force and go help them, just so our vassal doesn't collapse. And with all of our forces together, we can go ahead and begin fighting these rebels, and then eventually aiding our vassal, who is just not doing very well at all. Now, they're facing the same problem we'd been facing, where they just don't have enough transports. Luckily we do, so we're able to make quick work of their rebels. And now that we have a direct connection to Norwegian Central America, we'll be able to quickly declare war once we get enough forces over onto England to ensure that we actually win it, as that's a very important step. So we go ahead and transport our troops over and send our fleet to get them over to Ireland, where there's another rebellion. And with our forces now all more or less in position, we can go ahead and declare war on Norway and call in the English. And I'll just take one moment. We do go ahead and upgrade our development a tiny bit and start building heavy ships, as we have enough gold we really shouldn't be avoiding it. Now, since we have been calling England into wars, or we've been getting wars set up where England is automatically called in, the way we've been doing this avoids having to wait for the truce to end. However, it means that we're not able to call them in as co-belligerent. So we're only able to take half of what we'd be able to take if we actually did fight the English directly, but we're able to do it more than twice as often, so it really does balance out. And since we've already taken a lot of their land, we make very short work of their actual island, and our colonial nations are making pretty quick work of the rest of their empire. So overall, it's going fairly well. We do go ahead and increase development a little bit more. And since we did call Norway in directly, we're going to go ahead and invade Norway proper, as realistically we may as well, and if we get them to be small enough, we should be able to just force vassalize them in one of the coming wars. And then we'll have a pretty powerful vassal-based empire around the time that we're ready to integrate our vassals on the British Isles, as their main point is just to soak up all of the admin points for coring England's land. At any rate, we go ahead and defeat a large Norwegian rebellion, which required a good portion of our army, and we attempt to make peace with England, although they're really just not having it due to the short war penalty to making peace. We go ahead and send a colonist down to South Africa so we can maybe take their Cape holdings. And ultimately, it's just going to be a matter of just a series of very short wars. We do go ahead and build another large naval contingent I've set it up so that we build one heavy ship in each of our provinces, just so it goes as quickly as possible, and we start sending our forces up to just siege out all of the remainder of Norway proper. I'm not entirely sure what we'll be able to get from them, probably more than what we'll be able to get from England, and we'll just have to worry about what the next war will bring. They do have a rebellion, which we are going to have to deal with in the next month or make peace. I do attempt to make peace so we don't have to fight the rebellion, but unfortunately we're not quick enough. So we will have to go ahead and send our armies back to England in order to defeat this group. And it's more or less straightforward. We're probably not going to take all of their provinces back, but we do go ahead and fight off all of their rebels. We lose a battle, which is more than we could have even said about the English army in the last couple of wars. But I'm not all that concerned. We'll just bring more forces from other areas. We've essentially won the war. It's just a matter of cleaning up. And losing London wouldn't really help us get a good peace deal. With that said, we go back to sieging out their provinces, and that happens rather quickly. And now I'll see what, if anything, we can get from the English. There are a few scattered holdings we'll be able to grab, but more so than anything else, it looks like we'll just have to take one or two provinces on their homeland, and maybe a scattered colony somewhere or other. It's a pretty limited victory, but it is a victory nevertheless. Against the Norwegians, though, we'll be able to get much greater gains. It looks as though we'll even be able to take part of their homeland, which is a pretty tempting offer. I want to take at least up to one of their forts, so that we'll just be able to immediately march across the rest of their countryside. But we are still at war with Norway and Bohemia, Bohemia launching a rather significant invasion of our land. So we may have to wait a bit, probably defeat that Bohemian invasion force, and then from there see what we can get. At any rate, hopefully we'll be able to guide the French over to us. I don't have any great amount of faith in that, although their French army is moving up into our lands. So if we have a large enough force with the French force, we may be able to get them to actually join us, and it looks like they are. And just like that, we're almost certainly going to win this battle, which we do, and that is fantastic news. We go ahead and see what we'll be able to get from Norway, and it's quite a lot, almost all of their colonies and half of their mainland. We go ahead and raise autonomy in their mainland, and I discover to my horror that they are going to be prohibitively expensive to core. And this is a really large setback, as I have been attempting to save admin power this entire time, and now we're in a position where it is just impossible. And in fact, we've set ourselves back terribly by doing that. So this is not great. This game is currently not being played on the new patch 1.13. I recorded this before that, so we are still able to vassalize them peacefully. However, the next episode will be in patch 1.13 if it doesn't corrupt the save. So that means we won't be able to peacefully vassalize Norway, and I'm not even certain if we'll be able to militarily vassalize them. So those Norwegian provinces are going to be a problem that we'll have to deal with in the near future. How exactly that's going to go, I haven't planned out yet at this point. What we are going to do, though, is convert them all to Protestantism, which is probably what we're going to end up forcing Norway to do when we vassalize them, if that is a possibility. And if we can vassalize Norway, once our truce is over, we'll just do that and give them back their provinces on the mainland. The only reason we didn't vassalize them in this war was because they were too large and had too much development. We couldn't do it at that point. At any rate, if we do manage to get Norway vassalized, we'll feed them back the rest of their mainland, and maybe turn against Denmark to release Sweden and begin integrating Connaught in Scotland. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.